Do a demo for y'all. Just be painting. So feel free to ask questions of any kind. Of any kind. Anyone see any good movies? TV shows? Play any good video games? Are you guys all playing
Anthony,
Overwatch? Oh, go ahead, Ivan.
I have a question, Anthony.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah. Um, how long is your usual workday in terms of hours, and if do you get a lot of periods where you have to crunch, and does it affect your creativity or output?
Okay. Um, so this question I'll answer in waves. I'll answer in the first wave, which was when I first started my career. My hours were easily, I would spend the whole day working, like 8, maybe 10 hours a day, doing the concepts or whatever I was asked to do, easily. Um, but then, as time went on, the second wave, oh, and yeah, when there was crunch, it was crunch, right? But then the second wave, I started getting faster. So then my work days would still be 8 to 10 hours, but maybe like now 3 or 4 hours of that time, maybe 2 to 4 hours of that time was devoted to um, uh, studying and practicing or working on personal work on like office hours. Mostly like study. I would just practice painting materials or anatomy, because I realized I needed to get better at that stuff. Okay. And then now wave three, we're kind of at right now. So the wave one was maybe 2 or 3 years into my painting career. Wave two is maybe 5 or 6 years into my painting career. And then now about almost a decade, like 7 to 9 years. Um, like 3 hours of my time is actually devoted to the work. Maybe 4 hours, like half my time. Like, let me give you an example. Yesterday they asked me to do some concepts. I had the concepts done in 2 hours. And they asked me to do a lot. I did over like 4 or 5 pages of concepts. You know, and then the rest of the time I just uh, went online, was watching videos on how to program and how to animate and do stuff that I want to get into. So now like more than half of my time is devoted to learning. Um, the best the best example of like an employer using me at the best possible way. I had an employer who just basically hired me, and then he said, and this is when I work in studio, right? Like if I work in studio, this is pretty much how it works. Um, he was complaining that I was always doing like personal work slash studies whenever he would come to my desk to do reviews, right? And and then he was making a complaint, and I told my producer, because she was the one that came to me about it. I told my producer, was like, well, I don't know when he's coming by, and just because he comes by my desk and I'm doing some personal work doesn't mean I'm not done with the work that he asked me to do. In fact, I'm always done with it. He always looks at it and gives me a review, and I work on it. And then I told her, it's like, so he needs to come to my desk more often, or he needs to come to my desk at specific times, and I'll be ready to show him some work, like right then. And then she was kind of like, when I told her that, she's just like, oh, what? Like, really? She's like, yeah, then it seems like it's his fault, not yours. So then, so she went ahead and got a hold of him and told him what I said. And so then he's like, okay. And so then he started coming to my desk way more often, like every other hour. And what ended up happening was he would say, at first he was just like, okay, this guy's just a bunch of shit. And then he'd come to my desk and I'd be done. And I'd be, all right, cool. And then like he'll come back literally an hour later, try to catch me with my pants down type of thing. But I'll be done again. And he'd be like, what? Really? And then so then he was like, Holy shit, okay. And so what he ended up doing was having me work on all of the concepts for that particular project. It was all the visual effects for the Warcraft movie. So like there's three guys working on it. It was me and two other people. And he took them off of it and made me work on all of them because I was moving so quickly. And then he would stop by my desk every hour to every 2 hours. And so that was like a work day where I worked every hour, like truly every hour, like 8 hours of just on the concepts that they wanted me to do. And it was fine. I was like, whatever. It's like this is what happens. Um, and yeah, like no other director or art director has ever worked me at that level recently. Because I think they are going off of the idea of like other artists are their pace, which is really like around like a day or two of work usually gets them a lot of stuff done, right? But granted, remember, like my whole basis of my whole process was always about speed. Like I always made that my intent. So again, I always tell you guys, don't gauge your speed with my speed. Like think about it. Like you guys, a lot of you guys have already like completed some really good work in only 3 weeks. Not just one character, like few characters. That's actually really fast, right? So be very proud of that. Like you guys actually move very quickly, and that's something you should be very proud of. You maybe you weren't able to do three characters in an hour or something like that, but that's just like ungodly fast, and I don't think I still can do that. You know, I think what happened too, Ivan, was like when I used to watch Noman DVDs, they would always be sped up, right? So like
Yeah.
a part of me was kind of like, oh, I need to paint that fast, but it was sped up. Like those the artists themselves weren't even painting that fast, you know. But I was kind of like subconsciously deceived, and so I was like, I need to
Yeah.
paint in an hour. And so, yeah, crunch and all that stuff. That only happens if like when I came back from Croatia, that I had to crunch because I was so behind on all this different work that I wasn't able to do when I was over there. Because
And by crunch, how many work hours do you mean in a day? Like how much would you be able to, work effectively?
crunch is the same as I just told you. Like I worked every hour, so it's still probably
Yeah.
8 hours to 10 hours. You know,
Yeah.
it just converts to a normal work day, I guess, where I
Yeah.
actually work the
Yeah.
whole day. But back in the day when I did crunch, it was just like yeah, it was like the whole day plus a couple more hours. And in terms of staying creative or staying motivated, I guess it's never been a problem for me because I know it's as simple as just looking online, finding more information. You know,
Yeah.
because what blocks creativity is nothing superficial, right? It's not like oh you today it's a rainy day you can't draw, right? Or you only can draw on rainy days. It's actually completely knowledge based. Like you just don't know. You run out of ideas, like literally, and so you
Hmm.
need to look and experience new ideas to be able to come up with new ideas. Right? You have to look at new things. You have to experience new things to
Yeah.
be able
Yeah.
to make new things. And if you don't do that, then you're gonna have a hard time. Right? You're really gonna have a hard time coming up with something new. Um, like for instance, I'm getting into game development. When I was getting into VR, I was looking at all the VR stuff. When I get in game development, um, I look at games. I've downloaded like 12 games on my phone now, and I've played
Hmm.
them all and I've analyzed them and I'm still playing them just to see like how they play all the way through, what the developers' intentions were, because I'm learning. I don't know anything about that stuff, so I have to learn it, you know. And so
Yeah.
I was trying out some of the Vive games, and it just opened my mind up to like all the possibilities of even more so to like the VR experience. It's just like
Hmm.
so much cooler than I originally anticipated, you know? And so it's
And
like,
there's a
go ahead.
mhm. There's a lot of people posting on Facebook, concept artists that are doing this Vive three-dimensional painting stuff.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do one today actually. I'm gonna try to see if I can pump one out. I had some that I did at my buddy's house, but like I wanna like go full throttle. I wanna start practicing in it and get better at it. Yeah, because it's cool. I think that is the future of like I've already considered like production to be already done in 3D, like in actual 3D. And so it's kind of like the next step is to just get in there and start practicing. I think VR might start there because a lot of what we're doing is already in that level. It's like uh, creating tools that are basically uh, useful to the production world. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think that's the first start of like where VR is going to pick up. Like a lot of like, you know, casual users are not going to be using these softwares, you know, but
Yeah,
or not like right away. Like it's just not going to be it's not commercially viable yet because it's just too expensive. It's too big. It's too sloppy. Um, I mean, it's really nice though. If you haven't experienced it yet, you should try it. And if you get a chance to try the Vive, I would highly recommend check the Lab. It's done by Valve. It's like everything that
hmm,
VR has, the potential of VR is like all in that fucking game, and it's amazing. Like everything about it is amazing.
yeah,
And so the robot repair room is fucking so cool. And then
hmm,
Tilt Brush is amazing. Like all artists, anybody who even people that aren't artists are just like blown away. They're just like, this is so amazing, you know. Um, so VR it's there, right, in terms of like what it's capable of. It's just too expensive still, you know.
it is.
And
And
but
a lot of people were surprised because it was supposed to be like half the price, and then it was double the price.
yeah, I think it's because it's just like such a hard cost of entry for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
if you have the money, I would highly recommend you guys develop or get the Vive. Spend your money on that. Start with that
Hmm.
because it's already kind of awesome. And the worst case scenario is you just get the tilt brush and just start learning how to do concepts in 3D space. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm designing the logo for the company, and the company is a VR company. So I already did it in 2D, but I was like, I'm gonna go in there and design the logo in 3D because a lot of our games are going to be in like VR, or a lot of our experiences. Like we're doing stuff for like big companies that are not game companies, people that are using
Hmm.
it for more practical purposes. And so then like I want to like design our thing in 3D, you know, because it makes sense to like have the logo be also very interactive and immersive, you know?
Yeah.
Like a cinematic logo that you can look behind you and see it come into fruition, That's like really cool idea. And so anyway,
Yeah. Well, thanks anyway for the answers.
yeah, I mean it just changes. Everyone's different too. Like I don't think I've ever really crunched. I think concept artists in general don't crunch. Maybe illustrations a little bit different, but concept art not really. I felt bad sometimes,
Hmm.
like where the rest of my team will actually be crunching, and I'd just be sitting there, like already done. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home, and then everyone's just like, motherfucker. Any other questions?
Hey Anthony, I just got a quick question.
Go ahead.
So if when you're looking for work, do you need your own website with its own, you know what I mean, like web address, or just using your ArtStation? Is that okay?
The art session's fine.
It doesn't matter.
I
Okay,
think this makes it look a little bit more professional if you have your own website, but
yeah,
I mean it's not necessary. What's
okay,
necessary is that you have good work. It doesn't matter if you have a website or not if your work's no good.
yeah, thought so.
Yeah,
Cool, thank you.
yeah, totally. I don't normally put my concepts in backgrounds. Someone asked if I put concepts in my backgrounds. I don't normally do that. Concept art specifically, the kind I do, doesn't really require it. It's like there's no value in making a background if I'm just doing a character concept, unless the character concept needs a background to help push the design. But overall, I don't really pay attention to that. Oh yeah, all the time. Well, not all the time, but pretty often. Maybe like I do a few illustrations a year, like maybe 5 or 6. I guess it's not that often, but it takes a while to do illustrations because they have to be really nice and rendered. But overall, yeah, I do whatever work's available, and if they pay me my rates, if they don't, then I don't do it. If they do, then I do it. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day and get ready, get to work. But is there any final questions you guys want to ask before I let you guys go? No? You guys have all the answers? All right, cool. Oh, creature design and character design are pretty similar. If you could do one, you can do the other relatively easy. I'm not saying that you'd automatically become creature design. There's just a lot of things that are similar, that's all. So it's much easier to jump into. You know, it's the same for like if you're trying to do more of a job. Yeah, again, same thing. Like there are jobs where all you do is creatures, and jobs where all you do is characters. You know, but it's not like usually they'll let you know the kind of work they need you to do. Sometimes they'll be, yeah, we need you to do the character. Sometimes we need you to do creatures. They'll let you know. Um, but like in terms of like, yeah, concept artists in general need to be able to do most things like environments, characters, vehicles, weapons. But if you are a character, character concept guy, like you're kind of expected to be able to do certain things too, like some creatures and some subtle character stuff, some props. The environment's the same thing. You should be expected to do a lot of vehicles. I'm sorry, a lot of environments, maybe some obviously props, but then also maybe some vehicles or something a little bit more hard surface. There's definitely a distinction between characters and environments in terms of careers. So keep that in mind. But I relatively tell people just do what you want to do because there's a job for that, always. It might not be easy, but that's no excuse not to do it. All right? All right, cool. All right, guys. Thanks again for all the good hard work. I'll see you guys next class. See you Wednesday, guys.